All right, welcome everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is that day again. So this is the EduChat series. Welcome everyone. So please sit right in because today we are going to have a very interesting discussion with our next sharer or our next educator for today. So today it's a very interesting day. It's the 28th of November. So we're about to end November, leading on to the final month of the year. So how is everyone doing? Is everyone doing good? I hope that schools are getting into school holidays, and I hope that all the teachers are getting their well-deserved rest coming soon. Right. So for today, it's going to be a very interesting session because we will be announcing something very interesting for today in terms of what we are about to launch on the month of December together with this speaker that will be chatting with us today. Right. So for those of you who are tuning in, please do comment down below. Which country are you from? We are very excited to see which countries that are tuning in for today. If you're a teacher, if you're a student, please comment down below. We'll be sure to have you on the conversation for today. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is the EduChat series, whereby every Saturday we will be chatting with amazing and experienced educators around the world in chatting education ideas, solutions, and also strategies, right? So the format of this EduChat series is more of like an interactive session. So you are part of this discussion as well. So if you have any questions for the speaker or even us, please do comment down below in the Facebook chat. Or if you're tuning in from YouTube, you can chat down below and we can definitely see your comments and hopefully we can have a fruitful conversation for today. All right, so for today's speaker, I would like to introduce this very amazing person. He comes all the way from the country of Brazil, right? So for the country of Brazil, when you think about it, the first thing that pops into your mind, what comes up into your mind? Soccer, football, Ronaldo, right? Probably. But this educator all the way from Brazil, it's on a mission, right, to educate students around the world using the direction of space education or aerospace education, right? So I wouldn't want to spoil the fun of introducing this person, but I would just like to say he comes from a country, Brazil, I have mentioned earlier, from Itajubá, and he's actually representing the Colégio de Março, Itajubá, and also Objetivo Alegre. Right? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So without further ado, I would like to bring up Mr. Antonio Marcio Rennó Matos. Right, Antonio.
Hello, good morning from Brazil and good evening in your country. It's a great pleasure. Antonio. Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here to talk to you and share some experiences that I had in NASA with my life as a teacher, and always with that motto that we can never forget. We are teachers and we can dream big always. Right. So nice to be here with you.
Right, and before we start, actually, Antonio, just wanted to find out what time is it over there in Brazil?
Now in Brazil, it's exactly 9:37 a.m. We start Saturday now.
All right. Okay. So hopefully you are having good days of rest. Joining us on today, I see that you're wearing your blue color spacesuit.
Yeah,
would you be able to tell us more about that spacesuit over there? It looks very interesting.
Sure, I'm gonna tell you. See, and the sun is shining outside. It's really hot, 34 degrees Celsius. We are in the summer, so it's really good to be here with you.
Wow, awesome. And Antonio, just a little bit of background from Brazil, right? Currently, I guess a lot of people are wondering as well, for those students and teachers over there in Brazil, how's the situation like currently right now during COVID? Okay. Would you be able to give us a picture of what's happening?
I'm going to show you some, I'm going to share my screen with you. So the situation in Brazil now, as we are having the problems of, the situation in Brazil, talking about COVID-19, it's really complicated because we are increasing this education gap Let me be more specific to you. Take a look. Here we have some pictures of great part of Brazil. Most of the country are very far. We have a big country, and the teachers have no access to internet. As you can see on the top of the screen, this is a rural area in the north of Brazil. You see, how can we get internet during these times? The schools are closed. And then we are facing a very hard time. On the top of on the other side of the page, we have a teacher. Most of the teachers are working like that, trying to get signal with internet to teach the students. Then you see a group of mothers down the picture waiting to get the material to take home, because most of them, as they don't have access to the internet, the mothers and the fathers, they have to go to the school to get the materials for the kids do at home. And they are struggling because, look, the mother has to work, as you can see in another picture, and she has to do some housework, and she has to help, and sometimes she has no patience, sometimes she has no knowledge to teach the kids. Why I said this, getting bigger the gap in the education? Because take a look, this is the number that you can see, how many of us have internet. I am from Minas Gerais. My state is in the green, the middle of the state. The maximum that we have, as you can see the numbers, 73% of the houses have access to the internet. If you go to the north, the number decreases. So it's very complicated, the situation for those students. What happens? Take a look. This is a classical picture. Many of the kids go to school because they're hungry and they have to eat. And with the schools closed, we have another problem that we are facing. Some kids have no food at home. So besides the problem of education, we have to solve the problems of hunger. And the last one, to show you the difference. We have one guy from a private school in São Paulo, as you can see. He has his own computer. He's back to school now, and he has everything for him to work. On the other side, the public schools, no computers, just a pen, 6 students per classroom. The situation is really complicated. Now we are facing they say that we are coming back to the second wave.
Right.
It was getting better, but now people relaxed a little, and then we don't know what's going to happen next year, because it's our holiday now. We're stopping, so we're going to go back in February. The schools will go back in February. Well, how are we going to go back? That's the question.
Right, right. Okay, so I guess a little bit of understanding from there as well. And Antonio, I guess from today as well, let's start with a discussion about you, right? Sort of like for those teachers which are tuning in, from Malaysia, and those who are coming from Asia. Tell us more about Antonio. What subjects do you teach, and also, your education background as well.
Yeah, but I'm just going to be brief here because my story is in my slides, okay, in the beginning of the presentation. But my name is Antonio Marcio. I graduate in engineer. I am a mechanical and production engineer. This is my graduation, my degree. But I have been a teacher of physics and English for 34 years. Wow. So studying engineering was an accident, a good accident in my life. But being a teacher is my passion, my true love. And when I start showing my slides, you're going to see how this passion started. What made me decide, okay, you're not going to be a teacher, you're going to be an engineer. No, I want to be a teacher. That's my life. So everything I'm going to start talking, but it's basically is this. I am a science, physics, and English teacher here in Brazil.
Okay, all right. A very short and simple answer.
And I also have a band. I have a band. I forgot. I play music.
And I guess a lot of you that have watched the poster is, a secret underground lead singer of an underground band.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And and Tony, just tell us about the story when you first about the day when you started your first day as a school teacher. Would you be able to tell us about that day? What happens during that day? How did you actually get
I can have
chosen
to
to
share
be a
you
teacher?
again the slides. Let's go back to the slides because everything is there. Okay, nice. 1 second, I'm going to show there. All right, nice. So, as you can see here, what I'm going to talk to you has a title, A Teacher in Space. Because every time you think about who is going to space, an engineer, an astronaut, but how can a teacher be in space? Obviously, I am not an astronaut. I haven't been to the space, but I was close to people who had the opportunity to be there. And what I'm going to talk to you is about this dream, how a teacher from Brazil was there 3 times. So this is my story. I have been to NASA 3 years, to 2017, 2018, and 2020. This year, February, I was there also. And how did this journey start? How can a teacher be in the space? Everything started in 1984. This is my school where I studied high school. The name is Escola Estadual Major João Pereira. This is where I finished my high school. And the time I was a student, we studied kind of technical high school. So I graduate as an architect course there. Obviously, but when I finished in 1984 my high school, I passed in a vestibular, is the name that we give for the test of entrance in college. And I start studying civil engineer because I learned how to design houses and buildings. So I was 16 years old. I was celebrating 17 years old when I passed and I start studying civil engineer. Then during this first year, I was only 17 years old. We didn't have money to pay my college, so my grandmother offered to pay my college, and I felt a little uncomfortable about that situation. And I said, "What can I do? I think I need some money to help." And one day, as I was going to my college, there was a school with kind of sign in the outside saying Future School of English. Then when I passed in front going to college, I said, well, I know how to speak English. Then why not trying to be a teacher at the same time and get some money? And I entered in this school and I said, are you going to open here? Yes. Do you need a teacher? He said, oh, maybe we're going to need in August. Give us your name, and if we need, we made you a call. Okay, I gave my name, and I continue with my studies. In July, I received a phone call, and they said, we need a teacher. We're going to do a training. Would you like to be here for the training? I was only 17 years old. And I said, okay. I applied for the training, and I passed it. And in August, they hired me to be a teacher, an English teacher. One curiosity about this. Today, my English school is in the same building when I start teaching with 17 years old. So I had the opportunity to go back where I started. And then I start teaching with 17 years old. I had one group of English. And then I start my true love for this, my passion for teaching. And I continue with engineer, civil engineer, but always my love for education increasing. At the end of the year, my father called me and he said, your grandmother has no condition to pay for you to keep your schools as an engineer. When I said, Father, no, it's perfect. You know, I discovered that I don't want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher. And for the teaching college is cheaper. So you can pay and my grandmother can help it. Don't worry. I'm going to do vestibular again and I'm going to pass it. Then at the end of the year, I did another test and I passed it. And I was very happy because I would study for being a teacher. Then one day before paying the enrollment, I said to my father, now I need the money. My father said to me, I'm not going to pay for you to be a teacher. Because that time in Brazil, in the 80s, the profession of teaching was connected with strikes. The schools were stopping, the students were not having classes. And for my father, the idea of being a teacher is being on a strike. And he said, for you to be a teacher, I'm not going to pay. If you want, I can pay you one more year of preparation and you can go to a public engineering school and you're free. As I depend the money and I was only 17, I had to accept. But I was sure I was not going to pass after the end of the year for being an engineer. And then finally, I would be a teacher full time. On the next year, preparing for entrance in engineer, I had 3 groups, not only one group that I was teaching. I was getting each day happier. And you can imagine what happened. At the end of the year, I passed in the mechanical and production engineer. I was very confident that I was not going to pass, and I passed it. Then I had to study engineer. But now, during my course of engineer, my number of classes increased. So I started studying engineer. I was 18, 19, and I was teaching 3 places. This includes physics. So for 6 years, I got the 2 works together. I studied engineer and I was working as a teacher. Then on July 24, 1993, the day of my graduation, I received my degree of mechanical engineer. I don't know where this degree is. If somebody finds it, hide it, because I'm not an engineer. I am a teacher. And then from that day on, July 24, 1993, I could be a teacher full time. And in these 34 years, I never had any moment of regret. Wow, you decide not being an engineer. No, I've never had any regrets. And there is a curiosity, just a minute, there is a curiosity because when I was almost finishing my mechanical and production engineering course, everybody starts charging me, wow, you're not going to be an engineer. You're going to be a teacher. If you're an engineer, you can work in a multinational, you can get more money. And I was getting those people talking on my mind. And there was a very great educator. She passed away now. She was very old at the time. Her name was Professora Eraides. I was talking to her, I think 1 or 2 months before my graduation. And I said, Professora Eraides, people are charging me, why you're not going to be an engineer? Why do you want to be a teacher? But I love being a teacher. They say that the money as an engineer is better. Then she said one sentence that I'll never forget. The sentence is so important in my life that it's in my heart. So I will tell you first in my language, Portuguese, and after I will translate for you in English what she told me. She said, Antônio Marcio, quem trabalha por dinheiro não vale o dinheiro que ganha. Then in English, Antônio Marcio, who works for money doesn't worth the money he gets. That moment was crucial. And I said, I want to be a teacher. Doesn't matter the salary. What matters is my passion, the possibility of educating and be a teacher. Then I start my career. This is me. In the early times, my hair was black. These were the class I taught. Yeah. Take a look at the year. 1994 on the top of the blackboard. So from 1993 until 2016, that was me, an English and physics teacher. And then in 2016, everything changed. Would you like to ask any question about this part? Because we're going to enter the second part of my life. Any question, Jay?
Let's look at the question. There's no question over, but there's a lot of hellos from teachers.
So if you want me, I can continue.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was me, the teacher. 1993 to 2016. I was that kind of a teacher that every day wakes up, goes and teach, because I have to explain something for your teachers. Science in Brazil, it's complicated. We don't have labs in schools. We teach just theory and we do some exercise. That was most of the case during all the times I taught. So we're talking about physics, we're talking about Newton laws, we're talking about just exercise on the board and reading the book. The schools had no labs, no practical science. Then that was my life, teaching. Then on 2016, I had a colleague, she worked with me, and she said to me, Antonio Marcio, do you know that there is a multinational company called Rennó? They choose students all over the world to go to NASA for a training in space education, absolutely free. I said, oh, absolutely free? Yeah, you have only to know English. At this moment, my idea was, wow, let's apply for that. Opportunity to travel, to go to the United States. I was not thinking about so much about NASA. I was thinking about getting a free ticket. Wow, time to try to go to the United States. Then I start searching what was this project. And then I discovered that Rennó had a project to send educators to Alabama, to Huntsville, where they had a NASA Space Center. And since 24, they had sent more than 3,000 educators from 67 countries and all the states in America. So, wow, let me apply for that. So maybe I can be, I thought it was going to be hard because imagine all over the world trying to go to this project. Then this was the site where you have to apply. So there was the question, are you a math or science teacher? Learn more. Then I click there to see if I could go. And then there was an important question. Do you speak English? For us to be part of this project, you have to see, do you speak English? And take a look at this number I put for you. Only 5%. This is data from the British Council. Only 5% of all the population in Brazil, take a look, all population in Brazil, only 5% say they speak English. But to be very honest with you, only 3% can speak English fluently. This is something I tell my students all the time I talk to them. Do you want to get a kind of chance in the future? Speak English. If you don't speak English, it's going to be very hard for you to get opportunities. Fortunately, I am an English and science teacher, so I could apply. And I applied for it. I fill with lots of information and about my education background, what I do in Brazil. And then they said, wow, the results would be in January. Perfect. 1 week of January. From Monday to Friday, you're going to receive an email if you pass it or not. Then on Monday, in January, I check it, no news. Tuesday, no news. Wednesday, middle of the week, I open my email, no news. I said, obvious. All the world, everybody wants to go to this project. Imagine if they're going to look at me, a Brazilian teacher from Itajubá, Minas Gerais, nobody. Thursday, no news. Then on Friday, no news. Then I said, okay, it was not for me. I didn't pass. They chose somebody else. Finish. Saturday morning, I was leaving my building. I got my cell phone and said, let me check my emails, but I was not thinking about the project anymore. And when I opened my email, that was the email I received. Dear Antonio, you passed it. You were selected. Wow. You can imagine how I felt. Yeah, Antonio Marcio, you felt you're going to be a better science teacher. No. I felt happy because I got a free ticket to America. Yeah, let's go to America. But Antonio Marcio, you were an English and science teacher. Didn't you get motivation? At the moment, no. As I told you before, I was interested in getting a free ticket to the United States. And then in June 2017, I went to join the group of my first educator project. When I arrived there, there were 45 American states and 33 countries together during 1 week. Where did we go? To Space Camp. But what is this Space Camp? And then Huntsville. But when you think about NASA, I mean, Florida, you think about Houston. What is the connection with Huntsville? Then I was start searching for the history about it. This man here on the screen is the guy, Werner Von Braun, the man that brought the Apollo mission to the United States, the man who created Saturn V, the most powerful rocket that sent Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin to the moon in 1969. He was from Germany. Here you see him with a bunch of soldiers in the Second World War. And when Germany lost the war, he was surrendered, and the United States took him with 118 more scientists to the United States. They had two options: go to the Soviet Union or go to the United States. So Von Braun and this group of 108 scientists decided to go to the United States to develop a project of rocket for the United States. And then they arrived in Huntsville. Take a look. Huntsville, before NASA, had a population of 17,000 people. Today, Huntsville is a city with more than 190,000 people. In the past, Huntsville was called like a I don't know, watercress. They had a plantation of watercress. They were a farm city. Today, no. Today, Huntsville is called a rocket city. It's the greatest, the biggest number of space engineers working. So if you want to learn about space, if you want to learn about space engineer, you have to go to Huntsville. That is it. But where? NASA has a place there? Yes. This is Von Braun in his office. He was responsible for Marshall Space Flight Center. That is in Huntsville. It was in Huntsville that Apollo mission was designed, that Saturn V was designed and produced. It was in Huntsville that Space Shuttle was created. So everything we know about space basically starts in Huntsville. So you see here, Von Braun with John Kennedy, when John Kennedy was visiting Huntsville in 1961. And when John Kennedy said to the nation that they would take the man to the moon and return in the decade of the 60s, this was Kennedy visiting Huntsville with Von Braun. And this is Von Braun and Ed Buckby in the 70s. And Von Braun was worried about, let's teach science for the kids. And Von Braun had an idea of create a space camp. A space camp would be a place where you can learn science, connect with NASA, and teach the kids. This was the day when they were checking the opening of Space Camp. But now, when you go to Huntsville, it's called Huntsville, the space capital in the United States. When you see about NASA, take a look how many NASA we have in the United States. We have in Huntsville, we have Kennedy Space Center, we have in Houston, everybody knows. Look how many NASA we have around the United States. We have not only one, but we have many centers of research in America, okay? Then I went to the US Space and Rocket Center with those group of educators. This is a view of the space camp, yeah? And one more view of the space camp on the top. As you can see, the green area belongs to the Army. It's the arsenal. It belongs to the Army of the United States. And this part here belongs to NASA and the space camp where we do some trainings. This is I'm going to tell you in some minutes. And then I went, sorry. Jay, am I too fast? I don't know, because you can interrupt me anytime.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
You can interrupt if you have a question, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I was just having a question, right? When you received the letter from Honeywell, right? Well, what do you think was the reason that got you to be selected in that space camp? What do you think happened?
Yeah. This is one question that I had always in my mind. Why I had this question? Good question, Jay. Because imagine, I was a simple teacher. I've never had any kind of practical projects. So how I convinced people from Honeywell that I would be a good choice? I really don't know. I applied, I answered the questions they have. And I think the most important thing, I think today, there was a question about what do you want to do with the knowledge you will get here? And I think I was very honest about it. I think I was very honest when I told them, I am a simple teacher. I really have no practice of science. And this is a great opportunity for me to do a change in my life. And I didn't know if it was going to change or not, but maybe in my subconscious, I was preparing myself for a great change in my life. Yeah? But just this, I just answered. And I prayed to God that it was going to be, it must be. That was, I have no other possible answer for why I was chosen. Okay?
Okay, right.
So I got to the space camp and I have some important pictures to show you before I talk to you about my experience. You people that like about space, take a look. This monkey here is called Miss Baker. She was the first monkey to go to space and come alive. Yeah. And she was considered a hero in the United States because she went to space and came back. And when she came back, she was retired because the animals can go to space only one time. And when she retired, she started living in space camp. And when she died, she was buried in space camp. You can see here, this is a picture took of her burial place. And every day we pass in front of her burial place. And look there on the top. Every day somebody puts banana for her. This was something amazing, man. Every day you pass there, you have new bananas. I think it's a kind of honor for her. And this is just a curiosity about Miss Baker when you pass in front of her grave. This is a picture of Pathfinder. Pathfinder has never been to space, was a prototype, was the first space shuttle where they analyzed the aerodynamics and where they analyzed the science of the project. It's made of it's made of wood and steel, but has never been to space, was the first one. And as an honor, this is a picture from 1977, Pathfinder there today is in the space camp. As you can see, the Pathfinder is on the top. The two boosters, there are two boosters and one external tank. These were from missions. They were recovered and they are real. And every day we pass under this when you're in space camp. You can see down in the back of the picture is where we have lunch and dinner every day. So every time we pass under this. And it's very important because every day you pass here, you can imagine the first view I had, I got, wow, I am here. I am in a place where space education has been done for so many years. This is the same place where the three guys who went to the moon in 1969, so they were there. They were the same place where I was. And then my change started. When I started looking at this, there was a replica of Saturn V outside, okay, the camp. So just for you to remember, the man, since we started going to space, there were 6 missions, 6 Mercury missions, 10 missions Gemini, 15 Apollo missions, and 135 flights with Space Shuttle. Today we have SpaceX and other. We have Soyuz from the Russia's government. But these were the first 5 decades of American exploration, and I was there. This was the group of people from Latin America. They divide us in group. And then it was not possible to feel that something was happening. That teacher that was very happy for getting a ticket, free ticket to go to the United States is changing. What is the purpose for my life now? As a teacher, what do I need to do because I receive a real true present? What can I do? I can't come back to Brazil again the same as I arrived here. The transformation started. And then I remember before I talk about this picture, I remember when my first day in space camp, I had training how to teach Newton laws and gravity for kids 8 years. Wow, in Brazil, we teach about this for teenagers. And then they are learning with 9 years old. I have to change it. Something must be done when I arrive in Brazil. Am I wrong? Yes, so I have to change it. So I start changing. And I learned a lot this, my first experience. Remember Eddie Buckby, the one that I showed you before with Von Braun when he was opening the space camp? This is him. He gave us a lecture. And this was really important because take a look at one sentence that I will never forget. He said, he taught me. Who? Von Braun. He worked directly with Von Braun. He said that Von Braun taught him 3 things, and I use this when I'm talking to my students. Today's work must be done today. I always use this with my students in Brazil. Your teacher asks you to do homework today. You have to do today, not for tomorrow. The secret of success is not postpone your projects. Everything must be done today. Make sure your part works. You are part of a group. Now, Jay, I, Mary, we are forming a group of teachers for education. So we are a group. So what do we have to have in mind? That my part in the group must work. It's the same as Jay's part in the group must work. Then we have a fantastic group work. The last one is not for us because we're not sending people to space, but failure is not an option. For them, it's not an option because if you fail, the astronaut is going to die. I learned a lot with Eddie. He told us. And here it's me with Homer Hickam. He was one guy that gave us a lecture about the boys who were impressed about going to the United States. But the most important for me is this old man here beside, Lowell Zoller. I was walking one day in space camp, and I saw this man on the corner dressed like this. And when I saw his name in the jacket, I Googled his name, and I discovered that the simple man here, Lowell Zoller, was an engineer during the time of Apollo mission. Wow, I have an engineer from Apollo mission here to me, and he was there as a volunteer. I discovered that when you work for NASA for many years and you retire, you can come back and do some kind of volunteer work in space camp. And then I said, excuse me, my name is Antônio Marcio, I'm from Brazil. Can I talk to you? Sure. And then I spent, I think, 1 hour talking to him about space exploration. But at the end of our conversation, I asked him one question that is really important to me until today. And I said, I have to ask you a question, mister. When you sent the man to the moon in the 60s, there were no computers. There were no internet. The situation was, technologically speaking, was very complicated. You have never thought about being impossible taking this expedition? Wasn't it impossible to send men to the moon? Have you never thought about this? It would be impossible. Then he stopped it, looked right from my eyes and said, Antonio, there is only impossible if I don't try. Wow. There is only impossible if I don't try. Who said a teacher can't go to space? Oh, it's impossible. Have you tried? Have you applied? Have you tried in there? Who said that teachers can't connect the students all over the world for a better education? It's going to be impossible. Have you tried? So try first. And after, try to say if it's impossible exists. So after this moment, I've never had this impossible word in my mind. I try and I try and I try. Thomas Edison tried 109 times and failed. Only 110th time, he got the lamp. He got the light. If he had stopped in the middle, we would be in the dark. So impossible has no meaning for us teachers. We have to try. Obvious that don't confuse impossible with delirium. Oh, I finished my presentation and then when I arrived home, Jay sent me a Ferrari because I helped him. This is delirium, not impossible. So impossible is one thing that mustn't be for our vocabulary if we try all the time. Is it clear? Can I go, Jay? Jay, because I have lots of stories, man.
Yeah. There's actually a question over here from Aziz over here. He was asking, can you please share how do you teach gravity and Newton's law to your students? So you were mentioning about earlier that teachers are teaching, Newton's law in a yeah.
What impressed me, when I was in this class, the teacher was explaining us how to teach about gravity, and she used a very interesting tool. She used a site. I think the site, I don't have here with me the link, but I had in my material. She used it, I think it's a link in NASA, because you can go to nasa.gov and you can have access to everything for educators. And there is a part of NASA that calls Toys in Space. Toys in Space. If you Google this, Toys in Space, there are lots of activities involving gravity using toys in the International Space Station. And she taught us how to use this with the kids. And then I remember that we had to construct, she gave us cardboard material, she gave us rubber bands, and we had to create a toy to make this toy fall in different positions, using as a background this lesson, space, toys in space. With me now, I don't have, but I can send Jay, for example, the link if I have more. But it was very interesting because it was very practical. We didn't talk about Newton laws. We talk about gravity, how, practicing with things they like, toys, perfect, everything connected, okay? Any questions, Mark? Can I go?
Right. Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
So I learned a lot with Lois Zoller, and this was the first astronaut we had a lecture. Take a look. This is the picture of us in the lecture. His name is Michael Foreman. And he gave us a lecture about being in space. And at the end, he gave us a picture of him in a mission, like this picture you see here, autograph it. And mine, it was written, dream big. When I got that picture, I said, wow, dream big. I think I am dream big because I am here. I am from Brazil and I'm in NASA with more than 100 teachers from all over the world. And then we are learning. So I dream big. So I have to make the students dream big. So my mind was always in constant changing. Then here I have some pictures of my experience in my first experience there. I was in front of Apollo 16. We had one more Apollo 17 that went to the moon. And these I like to show to my students because imagine, when you're coming back from space, you face a lot of energy and high temperature when you enter in the atmosphere. I show my students, this is the color of the coat the heat shield coat in the space and take a look at how it is when it enters. I took a picture under the space. 39, maybe 40,000 kilometers per hour, about 3,000 degrees Celsius. So I show my students, take a look at, this is the color of the original shield. And here, when it comes to the Earth, it gets on fire. Yeah, so I got this picture to show them. This was a very emotional moment that I could see one moon rocket. You can see here me in the back taking a picture. It's protected. We can put our hands because this is very rare. It's the one we can get, just see it. One example of the moon rock came from Apollo 12. Here's some examples of engines that I took a picture. And here's some activities that we had to do there. As I told you, we are teachers learning practical science. So here it's my group. I have one girl from China, one girl from Puerto Rico. We start working groups, and one from Mexico. We form a group, El Poderoso, and this is our rocket. And the day we launched our rocket, we learned how to launch rocket. My mission training, one time I was in the mission control. I had to control the spaceship. I had to learn how to control. The other day, the other activity, I was in the mission. Here it's me inside space shuttle, the same as they had. All the buttons I had to learn. Look at here. Look at me using the manual. I had to learn how to use it, and we had to launch, go to space and come back. It was very incredible. I had to learn how to survive in the water, because when your space falls in the sea, we had to survive. That was me leaving the capsule. Yeah. More activities that we learned. You see, all the training was practical. We were always putting our hands and learning. For me, as a teacher that always taught science through books and never practiced, was incredible. I learned a lot. Some more pictures of me and my group. This is Alan Shepard in the same place I was. Alan Shepard was the first man on the space from America. Here it was me when I tried an incredible experience. I had the opportunity to try to walk with the same gravity as the moon. This machine here makes us try to walk as we were on the moon. And it's very difficult. Sorry, I don't know if you can see here. This is me. I think the video is not going to pass. I try. So I don't know what happens. Sometimes it happens. I can show the video. But it was funny. I was trying to walk. And here it's me beside Saturn V. Remember that the man went to the moon until Apollo 17 in 1962, I think. And after that time, there was no need of sending the man to the moon again, because the United States won the space race. So why spending money to go to the moon? So they decided not going to the moon anymore. But when they decided not go to the moon anymore, there were more 3 Saturn V's not used. So the 3 ones, one is in Huntsville. This is one you can see. The other one is in Florida. And the other one is in Houston, in NASA Houston. So we had 3 Saturn V that were not used. This is incredible when I saw for the first time. Imagine this, man. It's the height of 106 meters, the same as a building of 36 floors. The power is the most powerful rocket ever. Yeah, 3,000 kilos of mass. Was really incredible. Here is a picture of the 3 guys when they came back from the moon. They didn't know if they would be contaminated by a kind of virus, so they had to be in quarantine. And here's Nixon talking to them because nobody could touch them. They stay in quarantine, I think, 20 days. Oh, they didn't die, so can open. And the quarantine is in there in Huntsville. I had the opportunity to go inside and see how was it for these 3 guys, how they live it these 21 days after they came back from the moon. And we have some other pictures that I took. Here is a picture of a rover, because when you take a rover to the moon, you don't bring it back. So all the rovers are still there on the moon. These ones were not used, as I told, 3 missions were not used. So this is an example of a rover that is still there on the moon. one lunar module that was not used. Here, this picture is classical when the man in 1984 left for the space without any cable, using jet propulsion. And I would be afraid of trying this, especially when you see real in front of you the chair. Can you imagine this is the chair that you were, look again, the chair that made you go to space without cable? I would be very afraid of trying. Imagine if you escape and you die. Some more examples of rockets that I took pictures outside. This is the incredible experience we had. They had inside the space camp a replica of the ISS. This is the picture I took outside. One more picture. The ISS has been in space and they orbit 16 times a day. They are orbiting with about 28,000 kilometers per hour. And we had the opportunity to be inside to do some experiments. This is the picture I took inside the lab where we work at. So we have to do some activities inside the ISS. It's really amazing. This was the day of our graduation, the final day of us, and another picture. As you can see in the Saturn, as you can see in the front, you see our great friend Miriam. She was the ambassador in my year. An ambassador is a person that is invited to return to the space camp because he developed a great job after the space camp. And Marion and Meredith were the ambassadors in my year. I was in the back. I can see myself here. But I was there in a position. I am tall. Here. It's me here. Good. And then this is the day of my graduation when we receive the diploma. Yes, now we are kind of astronauts. Very nice. And this is sparkling to tell you something. As I told you, Marian was my ambassador. And when you are an ambassador, you have the opportunity to talk about what you did. This is the picture when Marian was talking to us. And when she told us about the great job she developed when she returned from space camp. And I remember that the lecture, I think, was in the afternoon. The other day during breakfast, I saw her having breakfast. I got my breakfast and I sat beside her and I told her, Miriam, I don't know what you did to me. I cry when I listen to your story. And I'm sure you changed my life as a teacher. Everything here changed my life as a teacher. But you personally, with your experience, you gave this sparkle in my life. I don't know what is going to happen to me when I return to Brazil, but I'm not going to be the same simple teacher as I was. I will change it. And thank you so much for inspiring me to come back to Brazil and do something different. And I returned it. And when I returned it, sorry, I missed it. There was one picture I missed it. And when I returned it, obvious, wow, I was a teacher, I was in NASA. The mayor of my city and the secretaries received me. And when they received me, the mayor said, well, it's a great honor. You represent our city in space. Our doors are open. I said, what? Whatever you want from us, our doors are open. Wow! With this sentence, 2 weeks after I came back, I returned home and I said to my son, can you do one logo for me? And I had the idea of creating this group, Conhecência. It's a Portuguese name. I mixed the two words together. Conhecer ciência. Know science. I get the two words and I form a new word, Conhecência. What is this? What was my idea? Then I returned to my school and said, yeah, friends, would you like to be my volunteers and start teaching science for the poor kids in the city? This was my original group. I think we had 20-something, 30 students that decided to go to this journey with me. And then we decided to start helping this school in the outskirts of the city called Professora Geralda Saravalo School. This was the day when we went there to ask the principal, can we teach science here for the poor kids? Oh, it's going to be an honor. Perfect. So I start spreading this. I start going to fairs. I start talking to people about what we were doing. I start taking my students, the students that would be the teachers. Remember, my students will be the teachers. I start taking them to all the experience possible in Brazil. Whoa, that simple teacher that was teaching just using the books died. A new teacher was born. A teacher that wants to, come on, more knowledge for the students. Remember the group, no more 20. I have this group for the first year, dividing physics, chemistry, and biology. This is just the group of physics. And this is the place where we started. Look at the situation, how these kids have classes. They gave us a room. This is the door of the room they gave us. And these were the first group of poor kids who start teaching science. This picture is amazing because when I took the picture, they said, uncle, when you go back to NASA, take us our pictures. I would never imagine I would return to NASA. Say, okay, I'm going to take your pictures and I will take your picture with me. And this is the greatest moment. As I told Jay, as I told Mariam, you don't see me. I am just the guy taking the pictures. Who is teaching our students? This is the real process of learning today. My kids, my students, they study and they teach the poor kids. They teach science. They are spreading knowledge. We teachers, we watch it. And when this day was over, when I saw my students, after doing research, after preparing everything, and after teaching, I cried a lot. I could not stop crying because it was one of the happiest days of my life. How could I imagine that 1 month before I was very worried about getting a free ticket, and after 2 months I was there with a group of students teaching science for the ones who need it. These kids in yellow t-shirt, they are the poor kids. Today, 2 years, 3 years after, I'm sure we launched the seed of science. How many of them will be teachers, engineers, and scientists because they had this class 3 years ago? It was amazing. This was my first year when I arrived, because now I'm going to the second year. Do you have any question, friends?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions over here. So question over from here, they are asking whether do you teach astronomy, physics, or science? So do you usually wear your costumes? Probably the green the blue jacket that you have. Do you bring your students outside of the classroom to planetarium, science center for contextual learning? I guess you showed in terms of how you actually brought up contextual learning outside of a classroom. Would you be able to elaborate more on that, Antonio?
Yeah. What is this? Let's start first. I teach physics. What part of physics I teach? I just teach mechanics. I teach mechanics for the first high school, just for them. But with this project, I had to learn more because, as I told you, I'm not a teacher. I am an engineer. So everything I learned by myself. So I apply for it. Yeah. So I had to start studying about astronomy, whatever. But today, we're going to change the system of education in Brazil, and maybe I will be responsible for the astronomy part of physics next year. So I'm studying a lot about this. And I always try to offer the students opportunities for being outside the school. As you saw the pictures, there is a fair of science in another. Let's make a bus and go. I am always trying to offer my students these opportunities now to go to other spaces to learn science. This flight suit, every time I have a meeting with them, I wear my suit. In America, the teachers, they wear this every Friday as a form of inspiring the students. Here in Brazil, I have, for example, today, I have something to talk about Conhecência, I wear my suit. There is a meeting, I wear my suit. So I wear my suit every time I'm talking about science. every time I'm talking about my project. Yeah, so I wear this all the time. So special occasions. In my classes, no, because it would be very common. So I want this kind of being special. So that my students see that, Antonio Março, today he's dressed like an astronaut. So today the activity is special. So this is what I try to do. Okay?
Right. Okay.
Can you go? Very nice.
Yeah.
Then when I return and we start doing the project, I receive an email. Wow. Now you apply for NASA. Would you like to Rennó Space Camp project? Would you like to apply now to be an ambassador? Then I remember I sent a message to Marion. She said, yeah, it's nice. You have just to talk about your projects. And she guided me. And then I applied. I was not expecting to be an ambassador because, remember, I went in 2017. So how is it possible to be chosen to return as an ambassador 1 year after? Then I tried. And with that slogan in my mind, always dream big. And I talk about, because when you're applying for an ambassador, you have to tell about your projects. And I told them about my Consciência project. And for my great honor, I was chosen to return as an ambassador, the same thing as Mariam did. And then in 2018, I returned to the same place that changed my life. I returned to Space Camp, and now as an ambassador, 45 states, 35 countries. And what's really an honor for me is this. There were 1,700 teachers who applied to be ambassadors. Only 8 were chosen. It means 2,000 by vacancy. And I was the first Brazilian ambassador in the project. And I have to say something. I was the first and the last, because after 2018, the project was over. So I went to the last one. Rennó decided to apply money in other projects. So it was the last time we had this project. So it was an honor for me to come back in the last one. Then I returned in June 2018. Here it's me. Look at Dream Big is look when we arrived here in the ambassadors, my real good friends now, James from the United States, Catherine from the United States, and Dorina from Romania. We were the 4 ambassadors for the first week. Here with us with Cecilia, our boss, who helped choose us. Here is the girl, I forgot, I think it's Beth, the girl in the middle, the lady. She was the CEO of the Space Camp. Here we have to arrive first to receive some guides about the project. Here we were learning some activities that we were supposed to do with the teachers when they arrived, and then we started working. The 4 ambassadors now working with the teachers in 2018. As an ambassador, we have some privilege. Like, for example, remember my first year, I had a lecture with an astronaut, that's over, we have to leave. Now, as ambassadors, when everybody leaves, we can talk to the astronaut. And I talked to Larry DeLucas, and it was a surprise to know that he had lived in Amazonia for 7 months, helping the Indians. It's a great opportunity to know about him. Here was me trying to do training as an astronaut in the multi-axis trainer. I'll try. See, I can. Yeah, now can you see my video?
Yeah, I can see you spinning.
Wow, that's me.
Yeah.
I was trying, man. Look at.
Right. Antonio, how was it? How was it like? How does it feel to be on that mission?
The experience. Yeah, it was very nice. When it's over, I'm gonna tell you here. This is the same as the astronauts. They do something more complex. You know, I did because I said, if you don't do this, you'll never come back and never have the chance to do it again. The same astronaut. What is it? As you imagine, my head is up and down. My legs are up and down, but there is one part of my body that never changes. It's my gravity center. So as your gravity center doesn't change, you're not going to feel sick if you keep your eyes open. If you close your eyes, over. And the astronauts, as I observed in the circles, there are many letters printed in different positions. The same as for the astronauts in NASA. Why we have these letters printed? Because this forces you to, with your open eyes, to see how many letters pass through your mind and form words. Because if you focus on forming words with the letters, you don't close your eyes and you don't feel sick. I confess that I saw the first 3 letters, but the others, I was very worried that I didn't observe more of the letters, but I didn't close my eyes. And it was incredible. You feel fantastic. When I finished, I was okay. I didn't feel sick. It was very incredible moment. Was really good moment. Sorry, then we had the opportunity to, as ambassadors, we can do, because when you are as a trainee, like my last year, we can do this. We had the opportunity to dive in a tank with 6 meters deep for us to simulate how you are on space, the same as the astronauts do in NASA, in Houston. And I tried to learn how to dive it, but I draw myself. I almost died here, and I decided not to go deep. Dorina got so shocked when I failed that I'm not going deep. James and Catherine, they had courses of diving before, so for them, they were nice. But I asked the photographer, can you take a picture, me in the shallow water, just to show that I was here, but I didn't go deep, because it was very hard for me. I almost died there. It was a very sad moment, or strange moment that I faced. Okay? Here are some activities that I supervised. You see here, the teachers are training, and I was now, as an ambassador, helping them. Here, me with a group of Latin America, together. Eddie now again give us a lecture. Now, as we are ambassadors, we can come closer and talk to him. Some other pictures showing me in this my experience as ambassador. These are some examples of food in space. Yeah, as you can see, it's not so delicious to see. Yeah, and I took the picture to show my students how the food is in space. Here it's how they used to go to the bathroom in the 60s. They didn't have bathrooms there. And now today we can test it. This is the bathroom in the ISS. As you can see, everything is made in vacuum. And what is interesting, take a look at this picture. This is the filter. It means what? Sorry, we don't have water. Sorry, we don't have water in space. So the same quantity of water in space station, is the same you drink, you pee, and filter and go back to you. So the same way they use your urine, they filter and you drink it, it's recyclable. Everything there is the same. Yeah. Here is how we sleep. We could try here. It's very bad. You sleep standing. You have to tie yourself for you not to floating. Here's an example of treadmill that you have to do some exercise for you not to lose muscular mass when you are in space. Here it does with Homer Hickman again. Now we're close. And as Marion did when she was there, as an ambassador, I could give a lecture to the teachers there. And look at the title of my lecture. A new teacher was born after 2017, because I changed myself completely. I talked to them about my experience in the United States, my experience as a teacher now. I showed them what I did in Brazil. Remember the kids when they asked, "Tio, uncle, take our pictures." I took the picture of the kids. And the teachers, they got so crazy about what we were doing here in Brazil that they decided to send messages in my flag. Today, this flag is in a poster, more than 100 signatures from all over the world. I have received a teacher from the group, Kelly. She came here to help me last year. She spent 3 weeks with me here in Brazil, helping me in the project. So it was very incredible experience. Our last day, the graduation. Now I'm in the front because I'm an ambassador. We again. And as I told you, the teacher, Antônio Março, essa died. A new teacher was born. Take a look. Here's some pictures of me. I start talking to students voluntarily. They call me and I go and I talk about my experience. And the most important, I talk mostly for students from public schools. And I try to motivate them, come on, man, dream big. If I am a teacher and I had the chance to be in NASA 2 times, you will have the chance of being there. So since my first time in 2017, I have talked to more than 4,200 students and teachers. I visit 26 schools, 1 international fair, 3 universities, 12 cities. And today this number will increase it thanks to Jay, because I'm gonna put here 2 countries, 3 countries, 4 countries. I don't know how many countries are here today with us, Jay, but it's gonna be an honor when I finish this presentation to increase your countries here in my list and be very proud of being here with you, okay? This is the some activities, remember that I told you, practical. Look, my students teaching. They start teaching. The teacher here is just a helper. They were, look, how many subjects they taught? Light, space, friction, optics, speed, gravity, weight versus mass, lenses, mechanicals, chemistry, thermology, volcanoes, nutrition, energy. How many topics my students taught the kids from the public cities? And then this was transformed in one science fair. These were my volunteers, my students who helped during the first year. This is our first fair, 1 city that we attended. 41 volunteers, 25 students were helped. Look, the examples, you don't see a teacher here. You see the kids teaching. Kids teach kids. This is a true learning process. They will never forget this lesson. And then 2019, the second fair. Now some more pictures of our students teaching, and we had our second science fair. Now we didn't help 1 school, but 2 schools now. The number increased, 58 volunteers, 55 students, some pictures of the fair. Take a look at more pictures of the fair. It was really incredible. And then 2020 arrived. Any question before I go to 2020? This crazy year.
Yeah, there was a question over here. Was that called a gyroscope for the machine that you were swiveling around earlier?
Can you repeat? Sorry, Jay, question.
Is that a gyroscope, that the machine that you were spinning around just now? The video that you showed us.
If there's a driving scope, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean by scope? I mean
a gyroscope.
So if there is a gyroscope there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there just in NASA. Here in Itajubá, we have one in the college. The students can use, but very simple, simpler than that. And the astronauts, they have there, it's more complex, harder than this.
Right. And also, I'm very fascinated with how you train your students to be teachers of, younger students as well. Would you be able to share with us how did you actually get them to train?
This is the great thing, Jay. I didn't teach them. This is the most important thing. You know how it worked? I dress my flight suit. I call the volunteers. And I try to pass my passion for teaching. Then I say, who wants to be my volunteer? The hands up. So what is your first activity? What do you want to teach? Feel free to choose it. Anthony Marcio, I love cells. I love biology. I would like to teach about volcanoes. I'm crazy. They choose the topic. Yes, these are the topics. Great. What are you going to do now? Research. Study by yourself. And if you need any question, you can ask me. And they start studying by themselves, doing research. I give them 1 month for them to study. After this month, I say, now it's time for you to prepare a class, 15 minutes maximum using PowerPoint, but pay attention. You will teach kids with 10 years old. So I give them 1 more week. When they finish their presentation, they show me, Anthony Marcio, is it okay? Just the only time I see the presentation, my hand is not there. You can do this, can you change this? Remember, they're kids. You are using very complex words. Let's change this. Perfect. Ready. The other week, let's go. The classes, they go and they teach by themselves. Like it happened with me. I'm a teacher. I became a teacher by myself. So they start teaching. And then say, who wants to follow this group? So the kids join together. The kids in yellow, the public schools, the students. I want this topic. So they form the groups. And then every Friday, 15 days in 15 days, we have a meeting where they teach the practice. They choose one practical work and they teach the kids. I just go around checking. I don't teach them. And the day of the fair, when they present, the kids from the public school, they present, and our students are beside like mentor. You see, I am not there. I mean, I didn't have to be there. This is the real learning. Practice by doing. And I can guarantee you, it really worked. The feedback, it's incredible. The students, my students learned a lot teaching. The subject is in their minds. The kids from the public schools, they love it. They practice. They want to be, they are prepared for following, some kind of interest. This is the real good thing. It was amazing. Very good.
Wow. I hope that, we get to really have a chance to meet your students that are teaching, to really, hear from them, and to meet them. That'll be an awesome experience.
Oh, I can invite them to talk to you. It's going to be incredible. They can talk to you and say their experience for them. Yeah,
right,
it's really good. And there are, Jay, there are some students that during these presentations, I could observe they will be teachers. They know how to teach. It's incredible. There are some that are very, they were not born for that, but they struggle. Right. They did a good work. But there are others say, wow, this has a future as a teacher.
Right,
incredible.
Right. Okay, right. I guess I have more questions later on. Let's finish your presentation.
So in 2020, what happened? I got a scholarship. Yeah, now I applied for a scholarship and I was selected. And now I return again, but now I went to Houston. I went in February to the Space Center Houston, which is a conference for educators all over the world. So I typed February wrongly, sorry. I went to NASA, now I went to Houston. 600 teachers all over the world, 12 countries we were together. And this is one picture of one day of our lecture. We had some lectures. This was a very important moment because this is the mission control room when Apollo 11 went to the moon. And we could go to the, I don't know if the video is going to play. Yes, we could go, they preserve it and they restore the original mission control room. And we had the chance to be there exactly like in 1969. Was amazing. I had the opportunity to be there. And this was a very emotional moment for me because my father was a dentist, but my father loved technology in the time that technology was very rare. And I remember that when I was a kid, I saw in the things of my father a magazine that he kept it showing when the man went to the moon. So I discovered that day that my father really liked the topic of going to the moon. And then when I had this opportunity to be in this room, the same room that my father read many years ago, I felt incredibly the presence of my father with me. And I cried so much. It was very emotional. It was like I was honoring my father who died some years ago as being there and I said to him there, Father, you just saw by television and you saw in magazines. I'm here for you to see that your son could be the place you want to be. It was amazing. It was incredible experience. Then we had some experience like in Houston. The things are different. In Houston, we had a kind of rocket from the moon. This we can touch. It was incredible. I could put my hand in the rocket from the moon. Here are some pictures of me in Houston when I was in my training. Many teachers I met, as you can see, Jay, you see Javier on the top. This is the way I met Javier. And I met many great teachers there. Sharon on the top, she gave me a lecture. Lots of, we make a lot of friends there. James down with me again. And some activities that I had to do. See, I had to learn more practical things to do with my students in science class. I had the opportunity to meet two astronauts, Tom Jones, and the most famous, I think everybody knows, Chris Hadfield. I think he's the one that is more famous. He was there. It was a party, and we could talk to them. This was a very great moment for me because I met this woman. This woman is going to be, she is the first woman chief flight director. It's the first time that a woman is going to take control. So when the man returns to the moon in 2024, when you listen, 10, 9, 0, lift off, is going to be her voice. The voice that you're going to listen. The first female flight director, she was there talking to us. And some pictures that I took, Apollo 17, that was there in Houston. One of the first, this was a Mercury 9 from 1963. We can go there and see. One from 1965. Look at the evolution. Can you imagine you going to space in this like a can of sardine, for example? Another Saturn V. I don't know if you can see the size of the rocket. I don't see the video. This I filmed the height of the Saturn V. I was passing my camera. Remember, 106 meters. This is the second one that never went to space. I saw one in Huntsville and now this one in Houston. It takes a little time to pass it because it is 100 meters long, the rocket. We have seen the stages. For this is the one. This is the part. This brown part is the only one that returns. The others are lost. So imagine one rocket with 106 meters just returned this capsule. It's something really, really incredible. I think it's stuck in. I'm not going to pass this. It can take a lot of time. And obviously, we are preparing for going to the moon again in 2024. The next mission is going to call Artemis, the sister of Apollo. So the mission is to go to the moon. So the spacecraft is going to call Orion. Yeah, very different from the ones we saw before. They're going to be launched using the SLS, the Space Launch System. This is going to be the most powerful rocket to take men to the moon. We're going to have a lunar outpost. We're going to have a kind of space station orbiting the moon. So we go to the station and then we go to the moon. This is the capsule called Orion that the man is going to the moon. Okay? And this is, for me, one small step that a man and one giant leap for mankind. Now I can talk to you about what happens after 2020. I'm going to stop the sharing, okay? Did I talk too much? I don't know, because as a teacher, I talk a lot.
You know, for every single picture that you shared, it's almost a story, an interesting story by itself. So I wouldn't mind. For those who are watching, do let us know as well. Was it really interesting from your perspective? Did you enjoy what Antonio has been sharing? I know I have. A lot of these pictures are, a lot of teachers, even me myself, I would not be able to witness it unless you actually show us to us. So thank you so much, Antonio, for sharing the pictures.
And now I'm going to have to tell you what happened when I returned. I returned in February. Sorry, but I thought it was in this slide. I'm going to just find the other one just a second here. And I'm going to show you 1 minute, okay? And I'm just trying to find. If you want to ask any question why I'm trying to find here, it's going to be nice. Okay, let me a second.
Right, I guess for those of you who are watching right now as well, yeah, right. So for those of you who are watching right now as well, so Antonio right now is currently still engaging his students on a month-by-month basis. I guess, Antonio, you'll be sharing with us on your activities during COVID as well. A lot of very interesting activities. Let me bring up the screen over here. Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, teaching space.
Yeah, so I return to the second part. This I talk to you. And, okay, just a minute. I'm going fast. All right. Okay, so can I continue here? Because now is what is interesting.
Right.
Then, when I returned from February, you can imagine. Remember, we helped one school in 2018. We helped two schools in 2019. This year, 2020, would be our greatest year. We would help 4 public schools. My number of volunteers increased from 55 to 110. So this year, 2020, we would put 110 students from our schools teaching science for more than 100 students in 4 different public schools. It was going to be amazing. Everything was going perfect. Then this virus came and stopped our challenge in March. We got really sad. The school classes were suspended and we could not do anything. Then it was a Saturday. I think it was end of March or April. I got very, I think, sad about what we were leaving. Then there was kind of light. Then, wow, I know what I can do. I sent a message for my group of volunteers and I said, wow, join me at the Zoom meeting today, Sunday, 4 o'clock. Antonio Marcio, join me. Then 4 o'clock on Sunday, my 100 students were in the group. I said, come on, kids. We can go this year to them personally, but we can't go to them virtually. Would you like to produce lessons of science for these kids? And then we create a channel on Facebook, we create a channel in YouTube where the kids that are at home from the public schools, they can access our mini classes. Yeah, Antonio Marcio, they accept the idea, and then this is what happened. We created 80 lessons during 2 months and a half. Every day we would post 1 lesson. No more about science, but about science, geography, history, English. It was fantastic. Take a look at this is a part of our channel on YouTube. There is no teacher. The kids were the teacher. They gave the class, they produced the class, they create the classes. It was amazing. So the poor kids at home that they couldn't go to the school, they had 1 lesson a day during 2 months and a half. With this, we became a topic in the television. I don't know if you can see this. This was us on television. It's in Portuguese, sorry.
Yeah, Antonio, would you be able to, give some live commentaries on the
she's
video?
Talking about our project. What I told you, she's telling. What we did with the kids, just this. She's telling what the kids are doing. Is they are showing. Yeah, she's telling the people that what we were doing with the kids. Yeah, she's telling that the idea was to go to 4 schools, but because of coronavirus, have some examples of videos that the students produced. Okay, so we were on television, then we were in another channel of television. He's talked to me about going to NASA. The teacher came and talked. Here the subtitle is Project Transmit Science for the kids. So I gave some interviews for 2 channels of television. And then they were talking about the situation. So we got a little famous with this project. And after this is the project that ended in July. Then Javier, the guy that I met in the United States, talked to me. He said, Antonio Marcio, let's create a project. Then we create another project that is called the Brazilian Aerospace Academy. This project we created with more than 100 students now for many different schools now. You see, not my only school. We give lectures to them one time a month. We invite, this is Jerry Woodfield from Apollo Mission, Carlos Fontanot, the manager of pictures in ISS. One time a month, we invite somebody from NASA to give a lecture to these students from Brazil, and they are getting very happy with this opportunity of learning more. So, as I told you, we don't stop. The teacher that was very simple teacher, let's get the book and open, it's over. And now we are always trying to make everything for the kids. And thanks God, Maria introduced Jay to me because this great educator called Jay, he is a visionary like me. He dreams big like us. And I think he's a truly passionate for education in his country. And with him and a group of teachers, wait for our next adventure. Wow. So this is something that it's going to be part of Jay to tell you.
I guess, Antonio, to really give those who are watching and will be watching tomorrow a gist of what is it like, right? I would just like to share my experience. Antonio actually invited me to one of his session where he invited someone from NASA. His name was Stuart, right? And Stuart was it was a 1 hour session where this person actually shared with us his expedition in one of the, a secluded mountaintop where they actually did a space expedition, a simulation on what it's like living in Mars. So they were sharing with us all of the details, the day-to-day, how do they get along with each other in a tight space, what are the daily activities, what kind of food do they do, what kind of experiments that they will do. I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing. So long story short, after looking at all this amazing session, I was telling Antonio, hey, Antonio, in Asia, in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, if they are able to experience what you brought forth to your students in Brazil, that would be amazing. And of course, the great Antonio. Yeah. Can you hear me, Antonio?
Yeah, now your image is frozen. I can hear you, but your image is frozen. Now it's back. It's coming back.
Right.
It's okay now? Is my image okay? My video, is this okay? Now it's me.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, your voice, yes, but your image is frozen. It's a little slow, like... Yeah,
okay.
Now it froze again, but your voice is okay, but I can see you moving.
Right. Okay, right. So I think it's normal right now. Antonio,
getting a little slow.
Can you hear my voice and see my
your voice? Yes, I can hear your voice.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So I guess the video is back normal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So yeah, things like this don't usually happen. Usually it happens because something amazing is about to happen. That's why even the internet access gets shortened by the time. Yeah, and so what happens was that Antonio has graciously is going to collaborate together with a teacher in Malaysia to share, to bring in all of the great educators, people working at NASA, to share their experiences and to bring in to people in Malaysia. Yeah, and Antonio, would you be able to share with us in terms of what was the main objective when you actually brought forth your people working in NASA to your students over there in Brazil? How did it actually came about, and how did it actually take off during COVID period?
Yeah, can you because it was a little slow your audio. Can you repeat your question for me again?
Okay, yeah. Would you be able to share with us COVID, right? You were mentioning that you invited people working with NASA,
okay.
right? People from the Space Academy,
okay.
right? Yeah, and what was the main objective, and how was the education different in a way, and how was the impact like for students that participate in all those amazing programs you created?
First, let me go to the first part. I invited Brian Wilson was a man that I met in the space conference this year, and he was responsible for training more than 70 astronauts. And there is another one that I met. There's Diana Phillips. She has a space. She has a science club in Canada. They were amazing, and I invited them to give a lecture to our students and yours about space, and they were very happy. And they will be in our first meeting in December to tell the students and teach the students about a little about space. Yeah. I invited, I talked to Javier. Javier is going to try to find if Jerry Woodfield, one of the engineers from Apollo mission, could come to give us a lecture also. And I think some kind of, I'm going to try to invite these people to give some lectures about space. But what really makes me get, I think, inspired about this Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, and Brazil together. As you could see, I am a teacher that wants so much to offer the opportunity for the students to connect. And I want so much to see our students and yours working together. I think this lesson, they will never forget. I think, as I told Jay, okay, they will be amazed by listen to Brian. They will be amazed by listen to Jerry, but they will never forget a work. Can you imagine, for example, we form a group of working, one guy from Brazil, one student from Brazil, one from Malaysia, one from Mexico, and one from the United States. They have a multicultural group working for a presentation. My God, this has never been tried before. This is incredible. So imagine they're learning, they're exchanging experience. So we are trying to give this first inspiring moments for them, talking to space. But what I really would like is for them to learn to spread science, no matter what science, even geography. Imagine, how can they know about the geography of Malaysia? And how they can know about the geography of Brazil? So different, so incredible. So the knowledge is going to be there forever. Jay, I think we teachers in this group, we are causing a revolution in education that I can really measure up to now. So I invite all the teachers that are listening to us, join us, get together. It's not a project of 2 countries, 3 countries, but as many as possible.
Right. Okay, so to give a perspective for those who are watching right now, if you are a teacher or if you are a parent that you have students or you have kids, right? So here right now is what's going to happen, right? We are going to have a very, very huge education festival. We can call it an education festival.
Great name.
Right, that is opening up to all students around the world, right? So we have Education Summit, teachers from across 40 different countries. It's all open to you, right? And we're going to have a day every month for 3 months in a row where we will be inviting people that is working with NASA, including Antonio as well, to have a session, right? Where all of the kids can join in together and learn directly and hear their experience, their space expedition experiences, and all about space for now, right? And it's open to all students across the world. As long as if you have Facebook, as well as if you have internet access, and if you speak English, you can join in. It doesn't matter if you are 80 years old that is fascinated about space, you can join in and learn from the session as well. And if your kid is, 2 years old, as long as they speak English, 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, they can join in and learn from the session directly from people that are directly connected to space, right? And here it is, right?
It's going to be awesome because they will get inspired. They will get the chance of being in a scientific environmental. And then they're ready for next year, 2021, be ready for new challenges, cooperation, and learning. And when this pandemic is over, I hope until the end of the next year, everybody's vaccinated. I really hope everybody, and then we can get together again. Why not receiving you from here, from Malaysia, in Brazil, and get together, make a good festival alive? It's going to be amazing, man.
Right. Yeah, definitely. It'll be crazy. And when we thought of this plan together with Antonio, it's all about, uniting teachers, students, and everyone from across the world to come together, interact with each other, right? Teachers meeting with teachers from other countries, right? Like what we're doing here, Malaysia with Brazil, Indonesia, Philippines, right? And even students meeting new friends from this platform so that they can learn together and they can make new friends, new connections, and new possibilities and experience together. That will be really, really amazing, right?
Yeah, there is one. I received today in the morning, Jay. I think that one of the guys that we can invited for one of our presentation, I received it here. I'm going to check for you the message I received from him. I met him in one kind of conversations. His name is William Abraham. He's from Brazil, but he's working in England. He is part of a group that discover that if you live a lot of time in space, you're gonna stress your mitochondria. I don't know how to say in English. Mitochondria. I don't know.
They probably call it mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Because I'm not a biology teacher. So everybody's talking about his topic now. And we can invite him to talk to us. Hey, what's going to be the effect of living in space? Because now everybody, wow, we didn't know that would be, what is the effect of living in space? Everybody's talking about him. And he sent me a link today in the morning for me to read his work. Wow, this could be a nice guy to talk. And we had lots of people that would be really satisfied to talk to us. I don't have as many contacts as Javier. Javier works in Houston, and he is the man that finds these people. Brian and Diana, I contact them personally. But Javier, contact Jerry, that would be possible. We are making a connection. Everybody's happy to talk.
Right. Just for the things for those who are watching, right? You were mentioning Brian trained over 80 astronauts.
70 astronauts.
Yeah, 70 astronauts. So he is like the teacher of astronauts, actual astronauts.
He's gonna tell this in the lecture. He's like, he wants so much to be an astronaut, but as he couldn't be an astronaut, he became the teacher of the astronauts. So it worked together. And I don't know if he's gonna talk. There is a very emotional moment. I don't know if he's gonna talk. But in 2003, I think so, the last space shuttle to explode was Columbia, if you remember.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he talks about this because all of them inside were trained by him.
Wow.
They were his personal friends. And he said in the lecture that his life changed that day. And he said that since that day, there is no one single day in his life that he doesn't remember his friends. Because he said, they were not my students. They were my friends. And I lost them in an explosion. It was very emotional. His talking is really incredible. He has lots of materials. Incredible.
Wow. Right. So for those of you who are watching, to give you a really idea on this, we used to do, homework, right? Find X, what's the distance from planet Earth to Mars? Right now, you're speaking to the actual people that are going there, that are teaching, that are touching all the spacecraft that we see in the book, right? So if you can't imagine this is going to be very, 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 very huge, especially for the kids.
Yeah, their experience of Brian. I can imagine how many people this guy talked. And he is a person who talked to John Glenn. It was incredible. This man has history. And Jay, very simple man, very sympathetic, very nice guy.
And Antonio, would you be able to share with us? I guess you have been doing this every month. That you invited one astronaut or someone that works with NASA. What was one of the most interesting sessions that you yourself experienced from the monthly session that you did?
Yeah, we had the first session was in August with people from Magnitude, where they explained the projects they are doing with plants in space, International Space Station. The second one with Jerry Woodfield, he was an engineer from Apollo mission. The third one was with Carlos Fontanot, that manages the images from ISS. And the fourth was with you, Andre Stewart, that's the guy that lives in a situation like Mars. For me personally, I like all of them, but for me personally, I really love it, Jerry, because this man is a legend. He was there with Apollo 1 until Apollo 16. He saw all, and the most incredible, he was the guy who saved the people from Apollo 13. You remember, Houston, we have a problem.
Wow.
He listened this, it came to his microphone, so he listened this and he solved it, because he's the guy who created the alarm system. He brought these guys alive. So he's part of history. He's a national hero. So I didn't know, I was kind of like this in the lecture. I was so observed by, wow, I'm talking to him. He's really, and he's nice because he plays the guitar. At the end, he got a guitar. He starts playing some kind of folk American songs that he created about space. Like, oh, I got my space. And it was really, really. Yeah, and imagine, he's 80 or 82 years old. I don't know, something. And there was something that made me very emotional. At the end of the lecture, the students could ask him a question. And then there was a girl that asked from Brazil, asking him, how is it for you being famous? Like being part of Houston 13, Apollo 13, you saved the world, man. And he said, being famous for me is and was not important. What is more important for me is every day when I talk to God, and God's like, if God come today and ask me, Jerry, did you do your homework? Did you do what you were supposed to do in this planet? And I have to look at God and say, yes, I accomplished my mission. This for me is more important than being famous. It was incredible. The man was fantastic. If we can get him to talk to the students, it was going to be incredible.
Wow, that's really crazy. So for those of you, teachers, parents, okay, I'm going to tell you the what, when, and how, right? So when is it going to happen? It's going to happen December, right? It's going to be a few days before Christmas. So please stay tuned on the EduGalaxy Summit, where we will have this huge announcement and how we will share with you how you can take part on this, right? But for today, for those who are watching right now, shortly, we will be putting a link down there. It's like a pre-registration so that we know that which school are interested. If you're from Philippines, please let us know how many schools will be participating, because, technological-wise, we need to know how many will be participating. It might actually go crazy from there, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of who can join in, right, any students that, if they understand good English from there, even teachers can join in as well, right? So our mission over here is really to allow as many kids as possible and teachers or anyone possible to experience this STEM education or space education in the best way possible, which is using online, right? So I'm going to take a very short commercial break to show you a very short 1-minute video on what is it about. So stay tuned on this. So let's have a look at this very short video that we prepared for you. right, there you have it. That was a teaser video, a very quick one that we did for all of you. So right now over here, I guess you can see the link over here. If you are interested, please click on the link below to pre-register yourself, so that this is just a pre-registration. It's not the actual registration. So if you are the first one who register, we will take you in for on the top priority list, right? Although we are still managing all of the nitty-gritty stuff on the logistical side of things, but do pre-register if you're a teacher or if you're a parent, if you want to join in on this Edu Galaxy. About the pricing, Antonio, what will be the price for something, a class?
I think there was a problem, Ajay. I couldn't understand you.
All right. Can you hear me right now?
No, not perfectly.
Okay. Let's try again. Hello?
Yeah, I think you have the same problem.
Right. Can you hear me?
No, but cutting. You see some parts of the words. You can just cut some parts of your sentence.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear us right now?
Yeah, there's an echo, I think. Try to talk to me and see if I can listen to you. Now it froze. Technology has his good things and his bad things also. It depends on the internet, yeah. Now I can't hear you and I can't, it's just frozen the screen. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, now I can. Okay.
So I'm just switching it over to my phone over here. So hopefully everyone, yeah, this is the first time as well. Yeah. So for those of you teachers or parents, if you want your kids to participate in this program, please do click on the pre-registration link. Right. If you have any teachers, schools that you think they will benefit from this program, please do share this link out to all of them, because it's going to be a huge program. Now, we were talking about the price, right? In terms of Antonio, what would it cost for something like this, a class like this, for anyone out there that wants to join in? What would it cost to really curate something like this, to invite people, from NASA to come on board to learn about this kind of things?
Absolutely free. They are gonna be here with us because they share all the same passion as us. I invite, and they're very happy to divide this moment with us. It's an incredible, great opportunity.
Right. And yeah, and like what you said, to invite something like this is really priceless, right? So what I'm going to say is that it's a once in a lifetime thing that we are doing over here. So if you're a teacher or parent, please do take this opportunity. I'm sure that your kids will definitely be thankful to you.
That we have to be thankful for the coronavirus, because if coronavirus didn't exist, we would not have all these things together. Can you imagine? Right. I can imagine my life before a pandemic would be teaching, but no, imagine how many things we got with the pandemic times, how many adventures we are in it. So now it's gonna be difficult to stop us, because now we are unstoppable. So we just go.
Right. Right, so there you go. And also, if you have seen from the video, you saw like a trophy. So we decided that instead of just listening and learning, we are creating a challenge as well. So there will be a challenge for your kids that they may stand a chance to win the Edu Galaxy trophy. And then it will be like a competition amongst students from across the world. Let's see how it goes from there, and how your kids will join in from this challenge over here, right?
Right.
Okay. Perfect. So from here, for those of you who are watching right now, if you are interested, please let us know down below. How do you feel about this program? Will you want your students to participate in this program? Do let us know on your comments as well, right? So by the way, Antonio, with regards to the sessions that you did with the students, right? How was their feedback like when you completed some of the sessions over there? How did it feel? When they were sharing the sessions with you, how did they actually feel about the session?
Which ones, from the Aerospace?
Yeah, with Aerospace, where they get to meet with legendary space.
The guys, okay. Yeah, because now we have the lecture, but we have a platform called Colégio. And since the beginning, we have a course. So the students belong to this course. So, for example, when they listen about Jerry, the other week, there was an activity for them in this platform that they had to do a kind of work. They had to create a patch for the mission. Then when we had the lecture with Carlos Fontenot about the pictures from ISS, there was an activity for them. They had to go to an app that they would take pictures from ISS. So all the lectures are connected. Now that for the next lecture that they're going to have about, I don't know who's going to be the next one. Jerry, I think Javier didn't tell me yet the name. But the next one, they have an activity. There was an activity for them. You are going to the moon and you can take only one kit. What would you take in your kit? So they have to answer in the platform. So all of them are connected. So they have the lecture for inspiring, and they have some kind of exercise to do it. So this is the feedback. I like, but there is something interesting that I observed. In the group, our group, we have students from private schools and a small group of students from public schools. The ones that participate more are the students from public. It's really incredible. I think I observe like this because the private schools in Brazil, they have more opportunities. And the public schools, they have fewer opportunities. So when they get the opportunities, they grab it. Like it's a great opportunity and they do it. It's really, really interesting. All of them do, but these ones, they like so much to be there.
Right. And from there, would you be able to share with us, for those teachers teaching science and probably English in their very own school, right? How does this method really differentiate from how teachers are teaching on a daily basis in school using textbook, like what you're saying? How is it different from the traditional teaching method by
now with the pandemic times, how we're doing now in Brazil?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it different? Say, for example, when we are having this section where we're having people working with NASA sharing their experiences, how is it really different from your perspective, from us, teaching science from a textbook to students?
Yeah.
How was the experience different in compared to the traditional method?
Being with a textbook, anyone can be with a textbook. If they don't want me to teach using the textbook, they can Google the text book and they can find the information.
Right.
And I believe that when you learn it, seeing, watching, the experience of learning is deeper than using the book. And during this time of pandemic, we were all the time with them through the computers. So when we got somebody different to talk, it's incredible. They learn, they assimilate more. And I believe that when everything is over, when we're going to go back to schools, we have to do something. The classical way of teaching has to change. Because today, the students have access to everything. The class must be more motivated. Because with these opportunities, bringing people from NASA, sharing screens. Imagine, when everything is coming back, come on, students, open your books on page 10. Isn't there a video to show this? Don't you have anyone to talk to? You have to change it. The classical way of teaching must change it because we are different now. And everything must be different. I don't know how we're going to discover, but I will try to be more interactive with my students.
Right, right.
There was a man from Mississippi College. He's 82 years old. Last year, he came to Brazil and he spent 1 week here teaching practical science in my college where I graduated. And I was invited to be there, and I asked, can I take my students together? He said, yeah, take it. And I invited him to have dinner in my house. And when I said to him that here in Brazil we teach science using books and not experiments, he got shocked. He said, how come? You don't explain using things real for the students? No, never. So how are they going to learn it? This was last year when he said this. Then we have to make this visible for them. Make this practical, yeah? When we're talking about rockets, let's make a rocket. Let's make a water rocket. Let's study the laws using the rocket. What happens here? The reaction, the chemical reaction, let's try to do it. So this is the future of our education. And with this cooperation among us, I think we can have a great group of teachers, one sharing links with the others. Would you like to use this? Would you like to use that? Why don't you use this? Why don't you use that? It's going to be perfect.
And would you be able to share with us, Antonio, from the students? I know you have different students coming from places like Romania and not just from Brazil as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could you be able to tell us from the experience that you had with the kids, how does the relationship really foster amongst students from different countries? What was the outcome after these sessions as well?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to. James is my real good friend. He was ambassador with me, and we established a relationship. His school in the United States, Corpus Christi, my school here, 19 de Março. No connection with science. We start a connection with English, so it was incredible. We start having classes together using Zoom. So the kids there and my kids here, all of them connecting Zoom. Then my students here wrote letters in English for them. I sent to the United States. They receive it. And now they answer. And though the letters are coming back, they were supposed to arrive here last week. I don't know what happened. But they will arrive. So we start exchanging communication among students. Mm-hmm. And we had a Halloween class together. We dressed it like Halloween. They dressed there. That was very incredible. The kids together. And what I observed, Jay, that they don't need us. Because when you use Zoom, there's a chat here beside. During the class, my students and James' students, they blah, 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 blah. They were all time talking among themselves. At the end of the class, they had shared links. They had shared contacts, Instagram, whatever. 1 minute they were friends. So I think this connection is incredible. They know how to do it. The experience is, I have students now that say, Antonio Marcio, I am corresponding with one student from James' class. I have been doing this for 2 months. Wow, they're training English. They're exchanging culture. You don't have to worry about students know students better than us. So the cooperation will be incredible. I think we're going to be, Jay, we teachers are going to be just the spectators. Because when the project starts, they will do most of the part and we just guide them. Right. In Brazil, we used to say this, the system that we are adopting for next year, we change it, the system in Brazil. The idea now in Brazil is the teacher has not the power of teaching. The student has the leading character in a movie. I mean, it looks like that we are the directors, but the students are the leading actors. So the classical classes that the teacher stays there in front and teach, they have to be over because with the new system of Brazil, lots of things in projects, most of the things in projects. So the students will do projects and they will learn through projects and they learn better. During this year, we have a kind of competition in my school. This competition has been done for 30 years. And imagine, we started this competition 30 years ago. And during 2 weeks of the year, the students are divided into groups and they do arts, they perform, they dance, they answer questions about general knowledge, they play sports, like a big competition. Okay, 30 years. This year, we invited many ex-students that were students of our class to celebrate our 60 years through lectures. What is amazing, Jay? Doesn't matter if the students studied with us 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. What they remember most about our school? This competition. So this was to prove that when the students are involved in projects, they never forget. They forgot me, they forgot my class, they forgot what they learned. But that competition, it's like, I remember, I did this. They remember things that I don't even remember. But they remember because it was very meaningful for them. So that is, I think, the topic of the education now.
Okay, so right, for those of you who are watching right now, if you have any questions for Antonio, or if you have any questions with regard to EduGalaxy, please do comment down below. I see that there are a lot of very nice comments from here. So there are, you see, a lot of congratulations. Nothing can stop best teachers to become the best. Congrats, Antonio.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Right. So you have another Facebook user. I love Antonio. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much.
Right.
My pleasure to help you.
Yeah, and over here from teacher Tina. Teacher Tina is one of the teacher from Indonesia, right? She will be very willing to join the program for sure. This will be a perfect opportunity for teachers and students who are space enthusiasts to gather and learn not only from lecturers, but from other students as well. So this will be very exciting. So there you have it. Teachers from Indonesia will be joining in on the EduGalaxy as well.
Perfect.
Right. Right. And from there, Antonio, how many countries are there currently from your side that will be joining in on this EduGalaxy journey?
Yeah, I invited Javier because Javier works in Houston, but he's from Mexico. And I said, do you have a school? He said, yeah, I have a perfect school to join us, but in Mexico. So we are expecting the answer by Javier if this school in Mexico would join us. I invited James, but because James got COVID-19 now, he's recovering, but I'm waiting for him to get better. Then I will explain for him. Remember the PDF that you sent me? I sent to him. He loved it. Right. So maybe if you get James' school, so you're going to have Corpus Christi school from the United States, one school from Mexico with Javier's help. There is a teacher from Brazil. He teaches in North Carolina in the United States, Milton. In the United States this week, they stopped because it's Thanksgiving. He's traveling. I'm going to talk to him next week. So we can have two schools. Milton accepted. We can have two schools in the United States, one school in Mexico. And I invited Dorina from Romania, and I'm waiting for her answer. If we can get... Dorina had a baby. She's with kids now at home. I don't know if she's very worried about education now, but she has a newborn baby. So I sent her a message. I'm waiting to see what she's going to talk to us.
Wow, so amazing. There's going to be a lot of people from different countries that will be joining in as well.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
Right. And Antonio, from your side, right, towards the entire journey, what did you see the students, especially from those students that you have trained to be, volunteers, to be trainers? They're so passionate as even as a students, willing to help out other students as well. Would you be able to share with us how is it that this entire community sort of like forms into a huge family that gives a lot of support for those in need?
The students that work with me as volunteers, I'm sure they learned a lot what they were expected to learn and to teach. So I'm sure that, for example, I'm going to use one name here. Allison was my student the first year. He was responsible to teach kids about rockets. I know that Allison learned a lot to teach. Now he's a studying engineer now. And maybe responsible for this was what he learned before. So he learned a lot. Caio Barreto He passed in medicine, now he's going to study medicine now. And he was one of my volunteers. He taught biology. He taught about the stomachs and whatever to the kids. I know that he learned a lot. This for sure. But what my students, this project, learned more was something that there is no price, was empathy. Because we touch the poor kids. Then I made my students to go to places in my city where the kids are very poor. And so they saw a different reality. With this project, they learned to be more human. Sharing knowledge, but sharing empathy. I remember there was one day that in the first year that we went to teach a Friday, and there were two girls in one group that she called me, and I started walking during the project in the afternoons. I go group by group, just seeing if they need me. And when I was going to group, the two girls said, Antonio Marcio, today one boy from our group didn't come to the meeting. Can you check what happened? Say, okay, wait a minute. Continue what you're doing, I'm going to check it. Then we want to check what happened. What happened is he comes from a big family, big poor family, and they had no money that week, and they didn't have anything to eat. So what the mother did that week, spread her sons and daughters with other people for them to have something to eat. For this reason, he was not there, because he was not at his house. He was in a foster house to eat. Then I came and said, this is what happened with your boy today. The girls start crying, and I let them cry. And after they cry, I say, okay, what can we do about this? The other day, the house of the boy received 3 basic baskets full of food that the 2 girls bought and sent to the family. There is no price. They learn to be in the skin of the other. And then there was, during this year, the first year, my students came to me and said, Antonio Marcio, can we have Children's Day here in October? Can we do Children's Day for them? I say, okay, has no connection with our project of science. But if you want to create by yourselves, okay, you don't have to worry, Antonio Marcio, we're going to do it. You can imagine, Jay, during Children's Day, they contract clowns. They contract magicians. They produce 700 snacks, 700 bags full of candies. They create an incredible party for the kids. I was not there. I didn't have anything to do with this. The students, because they saw there's somebody that suffers. This is the lesson. They learn it better. They learn science, yes. They taught, yes. They learned, but they became better human beings. This is the idea of Conhecência. Make the students be better human beings. Incredible. This I learned with Marian. When Marian spent 1 year teaching the poor kids in the Philippines, in an island, this is empathy. This is something, there is no price.
And yeah, and I guess the concept of it is that if we are able to reach out to as many students as possible with this platform, why not have more students to join in together and, to share the entire platform from here, right?
Sure.
Right. And I guess from that way, COVID is sort of like a blessing in disguise that we are able to create something like this for the benefit of everyone.
Yeah, we are a blessed group. I think God doesn't give us people that don't have the same idea as us. So your group of teachers, Javier in the United States, we form a group of truly educators. We are very worried in teaching and sharing and giving a better chance for these kids. They'll never forget us. This is something really, I say thanks God every day, because we gave me this group of people to work. Thank you so much. There's no price for this.
Right. All right. And from Antonio, one question from my side, right? So your life sort of like took a change after 2017.
Absolutely.
After you joined. the space camp, right?
Yes.
If Antonio, Marcio, Rennó, Matos today, 2020, you are able to travel back in time to meet Antonio, Marcio, Rennó, Matos, right? Before 2017, right?
Before.
What would you tell the old Antonio Marcios in terms of how do you lead education as a whole?
You know what I would do? I would meet myself before 2017. I would have this kind of conversation, okay? Antonio from the past, you as a teacher, you are ridiculous. Do you call this what you're doing teaching? You're teaching nothing. You're inspiring nobody. So come on, man, wake up, because time is passing and the future is there. So what is your obligation as a teacher? Are you doing what you were born to do? Wake up, because chances come only one time in your life. I would be very hard with myself, because I know myself. I want not like a kind of conversation like simple. No, direct to the point, man. Direct,
right.
yeah.
Right.
It really, because I didn't have, because education in Brazil is complicated, Jay. I don't blame myself for being that thing before. And I don't blame the other teachers in Brazil that are in the same situation. Because being a teacher in Brazil is complicated. We don't have support. Our salaries are not so good. As I told you, the teachers in Brazil, I have friends that teach 60 classes a week. 60 classes a week. They work 3-4 schools. I work in 4 schools. 4 schools. And the minimum that I know the teachers, they work in 2 because the money is not enough. And so I don't blame the teachers, because sometimes they are not better teachers, not because they don't want, because they have no time.
Right.
Because if you teach 60 classes a week, what time are you going to prepare something different? Yeah. Right. So I think that's the situation. If you could give more chance for them, we can get together. Yeah? But I would talk like this with myself.
Right. And all right. And the approach, the difference between the approach that you used previously and right now, the approach that you use, right? What do you think is one of the most important approaches that you feel is most important in an effective education method for students?
Give an example. For example, I have been teaching mechanics for many years. I remember that in the past, for example, when I was teaching kinetic energy and potential energy, I would go to the board and draw. Okay, so let's imagine a roller coaster. A roller coaster, there, I would put the formulas. This was the way I would teach, the way in the past. Today, I enter in the class and I get a kind of, Hot Wheels cars. Those Hot Wheels cars. I get one track of Hot Wheels.
Right.
And I put here in front with a car, and I say, if I leave the car here, what's going to happen to the car? And I don't answer. They have to answer. Oh, the car is going to fall. Slower or faster? Look, and I drop the car in the track. Wow! See, the car is getting speed. But how can the car get speed? Did you see my hand? I use my force to make the car going down and get speed? No. So there was something here. There was something here stored. What is this thing stored here? What made this car go with speed? Then I show first with something concrete. Then I go, and at the end we produce it. Now it's time for us to produce our roller coasters. It was fantastic. We created, we filmed it. Mine didn't work. Imagine the students work it and mine failed. I can't imagine. Then I showed, see, the teachers fail. They will never forget kinetic energy and potential. This is the guy from Mississippi that told me, show first. Right. Start with a question. Right. Begin questioning them. So let them think about it. Yeah. When I was teaching, for example, I can't because I'm in Zoom. Yeah. Because of pandemic. But I remember one time I get one student said, get the cell phone here and leave the cell phone on the corner and come back. Then we set the time. Then I asked the other students, do the same. But I told in his ear, run, don't walk, run. Then they went and said, wow, look, the student 2 did the same thing as the student 1. The same activity, but he was faster. He was more powerful. He has more potential, something. Then, I try to make them see, and then I go to the class. This is the way that NASA changed me. Because in the past, no, let's go, open the book, let's learn about energy. No more. Yeah, so this is over. I use my bike in the school now. I use my Beetle. I have a Fusca Beetle car from Volkswagen. Very old. Sometimes we use the car. So this is the way we change it. We are trying. This is the way I made myself different. I remember that at the beginning of the year, before the pandemic starts, we were talking about measurement, meters, kilometers. Okay, so I gave them a paper of kind of paper like this, and I said, now draw in the paper the sun. Draw the paper, put the sun here. Now put the earth in the line. And then I was showing them the position. Everybody does it wrong. And I said, why? Because you don't have a sense of scale.
Right.
So let's talk about scale. Then I enter kilometers and meters. So I opened the curiosity for these students, and then he goes.
Wow. Right. And speaking of which, Antonio, when you were in Space Camp and when you were working or speaking to teachers, trainers from NASA, right? How was the approach that they used to train astronauts? What was the approach that they teach them, and how does the education process work? Does it happen in like how you describe it as well?
How they taught us in the space conference?
Yes.
No, it was very free because who gave us the lecture were teachers. So teachers were teaching teachers. So I had different kind of approach. I had, for example, in the space conference in February, teachers that simply open the screen and start talking, blah, 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 blah. And I had the others, no, let's put your hands on. So we had many different activities because we had many different teachers. The space conference is an opportunity for teachers teach teachers. All of them connected with space. This was very incredible. I met Brian there teaching me. It was incredible. He's so simple because one time he was teaching me. And in the other lecture, he was by my side doing work with me.
Right.
So we were together as students, and when he was my teacher, was like this. This is the way it works, the space conference.
Right.
And when you have the great lectures, like when you have the astronaut lectures, no, they were lectures with everybody, all the 600 seating, and 1 hour the guy was talking. It's was not practical. It was just to listen to him.
And I guess, Antonio, speaking of which, we put it on the poster that we know that you are a secret underground band lead singer. So do you use music in your class as well? In music to teach students?
In my English class, I use it. In physics, no. But when I'm teaching English, because I teach the 2 subjects, I use music a lot. I have a program here that the students, every 15 days, they have to listen to a song, try to fill the space, to train the listening. And I always choose good rock and roll songs for them to be in contact with the language. I like to use clips. We produce movies using English. This English, my class of English is very practical. I create the Oscar, so they have to produce movies. We have an Oscar ceremony. Everybody's speaking English. We buy the Oscars. It's amazing. This is really good. And music is part of this.
Right. And so I guess from there, hopefully we're able to see more of you for the upcoming sessions from teachers from around the world. And I guess one final question from me. What is your main hope, right, by creating education platforms like this? What is your vision, and what do you hope to see in the eyes of a student by establishing all of these education programs and education platforms that you have established from 2017 all the way until now. What do you hope to see, and what's the vision of this?
As one of the students that will be with us is my younger son, I always see him as my goal. I mean, what future I want to bring to my kids, what tools I want to give for my kids, how can I make his learning process better? So this platform is a great opportunity for them to be a better professional in the future. It's a great opportunity for them to do projects together, to train the language, to learn. Most of the time, learning. So this is what I really hope. I really hope that he and the others, I see him because he's with me. He's 14 years old, and the others, in the future, as my students remember the competition in the school many years ago, I want them to invite them 20 years from now and say, what do you remember most when you were students? Edu Galaxy, the lectures, work with the students from Asia, the friendships I made all over the world, the contacts, the culture that I observed with the other kids. This is what I really hope. This is what I want to leave for them. And as you said, this is priceless.
Right, exactly, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you hear me? So Antonio, I guess it has been 2.5 hours, and people are still in together tuning in on this session.
Perfect. Huh?
Time has gone through so fast from towards that. So I guess to wrap it all up for our sharing session for today, any conclusion and also final words from Antonio for those who are watching and will be watching tomorrow as well.
Thank you. First, I was very honored being invited to be here among so many educators from Asia. It was a very honor to share my experience as a teacher, for you to see that one teacher can change. One teacher can find passion even after 34 years in the classroom. That I'm old, I'm 53 years old, but I'm too young to learn. And my energy, I want to pass this energy for you. That everything, if you put education with passion in your life, you can achieve your goals. And the more connections we have, the best for our students, because our aim in this world is our student. God gave us the gift, so we have to give this gift to them, spreading knowledge. And I would like to say thanks so much for Miriam made this contact with Jay, because she introduced me to you. And I am very honored and very thankful for you for being part of my life now and being part of the dreams that we're going to dream together. Thanks so much for this great opportunity.
Right. And likewise as well, thank you from all of us, I guess representing Education Summit Platform, teachers from Malaysia. Thank you so much for bringing this gift or the joy of passion of teaching and to share with us your journey and your experience as well. And we definitely hope that this education galaxy, we are able to inspire more teachers and students to join in and, to have fun in the learning process as what you've said. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So I guess, yeah. So Antonio, from there, I know you brought your guitar. Is there anything that you would like to?
I think I can finish with a song from Brazil. Yeah. Okay. So I think to finish with a Brazilian song.
Yeah, you can prepare. Maybe I just give a background on Antonio. Yeah, and for those of you who are not aware of it, Antonio, he has a band over in Brazil, and they perform professionally, semi-professionally, underground, right? And they perform a lot of amazing songs together. So Antonio is the lead singer. And what's your band called, Antonio? Do you have a name for it? Sorry, say again.
Vinil Retro.
Vinil Retro. Okay. Oh, what does it mean? Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. Just a minute, 1 second.
Right. And Antonio, what does vinil hetero actually means in English?
It's vinyl is the album in the past. The name you call for the records. And hetero is past.
Ah.
Also the past.
Right. It's vinyl retro, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Black vinyl. Okay. Right. So and and by the way, this is the first time on EduGalaxy Chat and EduChat series that we actually have a live music performance. So this is the #1 time that you are live on Edu Summit as a music performer.
Thank you. Let me just tune the guitar just a second. Okay. This is a song from Brazil, so I'm gonna speak in Portuguese, and for you to see the language of my country, and I hope you like it, just to say thank you so much. Ando meio desligado, eu nem sinto meus pés no chão. Olho e não vejo nada. Eu só penso se você me quer. Eu nem vejo a hora de te dizer aquilo tudo que eu decorei. E depois do beijo que eu já sonhei, você vai sentir mais. Por favor, não me leve mal, 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 mal. Eu só quero que você me queira, queira, queira. Ah, não leve a mal. Não leve a mal. Now leve a mal. Yeah.
Woo!
This is a rock song from Brazil. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Wow. Amazing performance by Antonio. So for those of you, so for those of you who want to hear more of Antonio's record or his music, right? #1. Go, please join the EduGalaxy. So he will definitely perform more songs like this in EduGalaxy.
Perfect.
Right, and also you have a YouTube channel as well from your band as well.
Yeah, you have Vinyl Retro.
Right. So for those of you who like retro rock and roll, Rolling Stones, please do check out Antonio's YouTube page as well from there.
Yeah, in my Facebook, I made a performance for the video, but I disguised myself because we had to create some old songs. And did you see me with long hair in the Facebook with white glasses? That was me doing a kind of different performance. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you see, time always flies by when we are having good conversation and having fun. So Antonio, we look forward to have you back again, on EduGalaxy to see more of you and your students as well. And for those good people, great people, Mariam and Ian, for those of them.
It was my pleasure. Count on me, everything for education. Thank you so much, okay?
All right.
Okay, see you next time. Bye for you people.
All right, so see you, Antonio. We'll see you again.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too.
All right, so there you go, Antonio. So very passionate, amazing teacher from Brazil, sharing with us all on his, space education journey, space camp journey, on how he actually came about from an ordinary teacher, a science and English teacher from Brazil, all the way to the current impact that he is bringing forth in the school community in Brazil. Amazing stuff that he's doing over here. right? So to continue on from what he has done, as mentioned earlier, I'm just going to do a quick summary on what's going to happen. So we are going to have a program called EduGalaxy, right? So this EduGalaxy is basically what we call that an okay, just let me bring the slide over here. EduGalaxy is basically a program. So it's all going to be focusing on STEM education from space education's perspective, right? So if you are a teacher or if you're a parent, right? So we are going to be having this on November, a few days before Christmas. So I know it's going to be holiday, right? So if your country currently under lockdown that you have to stay at home and you are finding for activities, interesting activities for your kids and students to join in, please do join in on this EduGalaxy where we will actually be having Antonio and also his connection for people working over in NASA. So there has been one or two speakers that has already confirmed on the first section on December. So these are people that are working together with people from NASA, right? So as mentioned earlier, I've joined in one of the session. May I tell you that, wow, that sharing session was amazing, right? So if your children and your students are able to get a glimpse of this, right, it would really inspire them, you know, the reason on why they want to learn maths or science or technology and engineering and such, on how it actually translates in the real world. Right. So for myself, you know, whenever I was a young kid, I always look at the stars and really to find out that, hey, if we are able to travel across, you know, the clouds going into space, right? How cool will that be? And always a dream for, I know a lot of you out there that wants to, you know, one day step your foot in space. So right now, we're not quite there yet, but however, you get one step even closer, right, to really meet people that has been there, done that before, and to come in a fun education platform called EduGalaxy from here, right? So for those of you who are interested, please do the link down over there. Please do have the pre-registration, and we will be announcing this very, very soon on Education Summit platform on how you as a teacher or parent can join in together with your kids on these upcoming sessions as well. All right, so as always, if you have any questions with regards to the EduGalaxy platform and also Edu Summit, you can also email us as well. So our email is hello.edusummit@gmail.com with regards to any questions that you have for us from here as well. All right. So I guess it has been a very long 2.5 hour session over here. Thank you so much for those of you who are joining us all the way from 8:30 p.m. in Malaysian time all the way until nighttime right now. So it's been a pleasure having you together with us, and we hope that we are able to bring you even more fun, excitement, and interesting education activities in the future. So starting with EduGalaxy, where students from across the world and teachers from across the world will be coming together to learn from people from NASA, the space guys, the astronauts. All the interesting fun stuff will be happening to you live next month during December. So please stay tuned. What you can do as a teacher, please do share this out to as many teachers or parents as possible, right? Because it is going to be a blast, right? Mark my words, something interesting like this will never come by in the near future. I will guarantee you that this will be something very, very amazing, right? So with that, I would like to end our session for today. So thank you so much for joining us on this EduChat series with Antonio. And for those of you who are tuning in from Brazil, hello, and we hope to see you again in the near future. And with this, I would like to sign off. Jay Wong here from Education Summit EduChat series. We hope to see you next week for another EduChat series and also for EduGalaxy next month. So here's another quick short video of the teaser for the EduGalaxy program. Take care, everyone. Good night and good morning for those of you who are over in Brazil. Take care, and I will see you when I see you again. Take care.